After 3 months as a lowly employee, Billionaire Heir discovered love in the most unexpected way. Jack Wainwright stood behind the counter of Brewed Awakening, wiping down the espresso machine with a cotton cloth that had seen better days. The hum of the coffee grinder and the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee enveloped him like a comforting blanket, nudging him toward authenticity. Gone were the lavish galas, the endless expectations, and the haunting echoes of laughter hollowing his insides. Here, in the heart of Chicago, was where he first felt light a spark of true freedom. "Hey, Jack, can you whip up a double shot for table 5? Maria's voice rang out, her eyes sparkling with warmth and determination. She was a fiery single mother, carrying her dreams on her slender shoulders while raising her young daughter. He loved how her presence filled the room, how it turned mundane moments into something vibrant. "Coming right up," he replied, a smile creeping up his face. The banter between them was easy, like they were old friends, not a billionaire heir and a working-class mom. It was in these exchanges that Jack felt alive. While he mixed flavored syrups, he watched her. The way she curled her hair behind her ear, how she navigated the cafe with grace, it was captivating. Just a month prior, Jack had been drowning in a sea of glitzy parties where he felt more like a mannequin than a human being. Each obligatory toast had chipped away at his spirit. But here, in this unpretentious shop, he was just Jack, a guy trying to figure life out. Soon, laughter filled the cafe as they joked about the bizarre coffee orders they received. For Jack, simple moments like these were intoxicating. But under the joy lurked a silence that disturbed him. He was aware of the vast divide between their worlds, a chasm that made him question if their laughter could ever withstand the realities of his privilege and her hardships. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As days turned into weeks, Jack's attachment to Maria deepened. They talked about dreams under the warm glow of the cafe lights, shared stories of heartache, and laughed at the mundane. But one evening, as the city buzzed outside, Maria revealed something personal that cut through their connection, a bitter past encounter with the wealthy that shaped her views on people like Jack. A chill swept through him. They were right on the edge of something beautiful, yet there it was, an unspoken sorrow between them. That night, doubts crept in. Could she ever see him beyond the Wainwright name? The turning point arrived during the annual community gala. Jack's family was honored for their philanthropic efforts. As they celebrated, his heart pounded, a mixture of pride and dread. He felt exposed onto the spotlight, and when Maria learned who he truly was, the shock on her face said it all. "Jack, I can't believe you didn't tell me." Her voice trembled as she backed away, almost as if he was a stranger. The warmth faded, and he felt his world spin. Could love truly rise above the weight of their circumstances? As he stood there, raw and uncertain, he wrestled with the question, was he capable of bridging the divide, or was this the end before it even began? Jack stared at Maria, his stomach churning as her stunned expression hung in the air. It wasn't just the shock that clouded her eyes. It was a whirlwind of disbelief and betrayal. He took a step forward, desperate to reach out to her, to bridge the expanding gap they both felt. "Maria, wait," he called out, his voice cutting through the noise of the gala. Guests twirled and laughed around them, yet he felt like he was in a bubble, completely isolated. But Maria shook her head, her gaze darting away from him. "You should have told me, Jack. I thought you were different." The words sliced through him, sharper than any knife. "I didn't want it to change anything between us. I just wanted to be just Jack." He could hear his own breath quicken, panic bubbling up inside. They had shared so much. How could it all unravel so quickly? "Just Jack? You're a Wainwright. How can I trust you?" Her voice quivered, each word infused with pain. "What about everything you said? About your dreams? Your life here? Was it all a lie? No. He reached out, but she stepped back, maintaining the distance as if a physical barrier could shield her from the truth. It's not a lie. I've spent the last 3 months trying to step away from that life. I didn't want to be the billionaire heir. I wanted to be someone who connects, who cares. But you still are him. You can't escape who you are. The emotion in her voice crumpled him, making it hard to breathe. He felt dizzy, emotion crashing over him in waves. What had begun as sweet simplicity now felt so overwhelmingly complicated. Images of their laughter together, their budding friendship floated through his mind, now tainted by shadows of doubt. I can be better, he said, his voice steadier now. I'm trying to be better, to understand a world beyond my privilege. I thought you could see that. She looked at him, her eyes fierce and filled with unshed tears, a mix of hope and hurt. You're asking me to trust you blindly, to disregard everything I've felt in my life because of people like you. You have no idea what that is like. The truth of her words struck him deeply, and he could feel his heart sink. He had been so caught up in his desire for a genuine connection that he hadn't considered how deep her scars ran. How could he expect her to look past the name he carried? I want to show you, Jack pleaded. I want to prove it to you. But please don't walk away from us. Maria hesitated, her breath catching. She seemed to search for something deep within before looking away, torn between the feelings she had developed and the fears they now unearthed. I need time. I can't just pretend this doesn't matter. Take all the time you need, he replied, his heart weighing heavy in his chest. But I want to stop trying. I can't just let you go. As the evening buzzed around them, an unfamiliar silence fell between Jack and Maria. He watched her turn to walk away, the colorful lights of the gala blurring into a haze. In that moment, Jack Wainwright realized that love wasn't just about the connection they shared. It was also about facing the reality of the past and the burdens they carried. He took a shaky breath, resolute in his yearning to fight for her, even if that meant confronting the very life he was trying to leave behind. But what would that fight look like? Could he truly change her mind, or would their worlds always be too far apart? With that heavy question looming, he glanced at the crowd, uncertainty clawing at his chest. Would the next chapter of his life include the only woman who had ever made him feel alive, or would he be forced to walk away painfully alone? Jack stood motionless, his mind racing as he watched Maria fade into the evening crowd. The laughter and chatter of the gala felt distant, muffled by his heart, which thudded loudly in his ears. Each pulse reminded him of the fragile bond they had built. What had he done? The adrenaline that had surged through him moments ago was now replaced by a sinking despair. He was about to lose her, the one person who saw him for who he wanted to be, rather than the inheritance that defined him. Stepping back, he caught sight of the city lights twinkling through the ballroom windows. They looked beautiful, but tonight they felt cold and indifferent. He had never felt so utterly alone, lost amid a sea of faces that didn't hold meaning for him anymore. Not like Maria did, he forced himself to breathe, the air thick with regret. In the minutes that passed, he finally made a decision. He wasn't going to be paralyzed by fear or regret. He needed to reclaim the connection they had, to prove that he could be more than just a name. He would show her he was worth trusting. Jack, there you are. A familiar voice broke through his thoughts, yanking him back to reality. It was his brother, Eric, approaching with a glass of champagne in hand, a smile plastered across his face. You've been avoiding everyone. Everything okay? Not now, Eric, Jack said, his voice tighter than he had intended. This was not the time to play the role of the carefree heir. Eric raised an eyebrow, clearly taken aback. Whoa, where's this coming from? You're usually the life of the party. I'm not in the mood, Jack snapped. The chaos of feelings rattled inside him. He could feel his brother's gaze probing, digging for the truth. Let me guess, Eric said, a knowing glint in his eye. It's about that waitress, isn't it? Jack clenched his fists, surprised that his brother had noticed his attraction to Maria. She's not just a waitress. I know. I heard you two talking earlier. Eric's tone softened. She's special to you, huh? Jack nodded slowly, the weight of his feelings pressing down hard. She doesn't trust me, Eric. She thinks I'm just like everyone else in my world. Like our family. His brother's expression shifted. So what are you going to do about it? I'm going to show her I'm different. I'm going to prove to her that I care. I want to fight for this for us, Jack said, his voice gaining strength. Eric considered this for a moment, then grinned. Sounds like a plan. Just remember, it's not just about proving something to her. It's about showing your true self, regardless of what comes next. Jack felt a spark of hope grow within him. Could he truly reveal the person he had grown into, the person he longed to be? I have to find her, he announced, determination raising his heart rate again. Now, the party just started. Eric protested, but Jack was already moving. Dodging past the clusters of laughter and music, he stepped into the night air. It was cooler than he expected, the gentle breeze a contrast to the suffocating warmth of the ballroom. He scanned the faces of the guests milling around, searching for the one that mattered most. Then he spotted her. Maria stood a little away from the throng, her face illuminated by the silver of the moonlight. She looked lost in thought, a mixture of sadness and lingering hope etched on her features. "Maria," he called, stepping toward her, his heart racing. She turned, surprise flickering across her face. Instinctively, he could see the walls she'd built starting to glow with vulnerability. He couldn't let this slip away. "I know I've messed up, but please can we talk?" As he approached, the air thickened, charged with unspoken words and emotions. Could this moment change everything? Jack felt an electric pull drawing him closer. Would Maria let him in again? Maria hesitated, her eyes wide with a mix of surprise and uncertainty. The breeze tugged at her hair, and for a moment, everything else faded away. It was just Jack and the soft glow around them. The world narrowed down to this fragile moment. "Jack," she started, though the sound of his name faltered between them. Her heart raced, echoing his own unspoken longing. She remembered the laughter they shared, the way he listened to her stories, but trust was a precarious thing. "What I said earlier, I didn't mean it like that." Jack rushed out, his voice earnest. He took a step closer, the distance feeling like an insurmountable chasm laden with misunderstandings. I need you to know that I'm trying to be different. I want to be someone you can trust." She looked away, studying the ground as if the answers were hidden in the shadows. "You don't understand, Jack. You're a part of a world I can't step into. It's not just about trust. It's about reality. What if I said I want to change that reality?" He paused, searching her face for a hint of belief. "I want to leave behind the expectations and be with you. Show you that I'm more than just my last name." Maria felt a flicker of warmth in her chest, battling against the icy grip of skepticism. It's easy to say those words in a moment like this. But can you really? Jack opened his mouth, grappling for the right response. "I felt trapped by this life, by the image of who I'm supposed to be. But being here with you, feeling the real connection, we can create something that matters." Her resolve wavered, and for a second, she thought of how that might feel. To feel seen, to belong somewhere real. But doubt seeped in, and then what? You go back to your life parties, wealth, and I become just a memory? No, it's not like that. Jack's eyes showed desperation that grounded his words. "You inspire me. I can't just walk away like it's nothing. I want to fight for you, to fight for us. I won't let my family or anyone else dictate my happiness, our happiness." The intensity of his gaze broke through the wall she had built, but she hesitated still. "Jack, what if this is just a phase for you? A moment of rebellion against the life you live? One that you'll wake up from then, let me prove it." He interrupted, his voice passionate yet filled with vulnerability. "Give me a chance to show you who I really can be. Let us explore this together." Maria took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. He was offering her something precious, a chance at something real. But she couldn't shake the fear of getting hurt again. "And if this isn't enough for you, it will be," he said firmly. "I want let it be anything less. But I can't do it without you." They stood in silence, the air thick with unresolved tension. Jack's heart raced as he waited for her response, his eyes pleading for her to see the truth in his conviction. Maria searched deep within herself, caught between what was possible and what felt safe. Then, just as hope ignited within Jack, she whispered, "Okay, I'll give you a chance." His heart soared as he stepped closer, taking her hand gently. The world around them faded further away, leaving just the two of them standing on the precipice of something new. The possibilities felt endless, but as he looked into her eyes, Jack knew the path ahead was uncertain, full of challenges that would test his resolve. Would he be able to sustain the fight for their connection when his world pulled him in different directions? The night felt alive with promise, yet fraught with impending dilemmas. What awaited them beyond this moment? Could love truly conquer the doubts that shrouded their lives? As they lingered in that electric moment, both of them knew that tomorrow would hold its own trials. Would they be ready to face whatever storms lay ahead? The morning sun spilled through the windows of Maria's small apartment, casting a warm glow that made everything feel alive. She stirred from her sleep, a smile creeping onto her face as the memories from last night danced in her mind. Jack's words echoed in her ears, bringing a sense of hope that felt almost foreign. She rolled out of bed, her feet touching the cool hardwood floor. It was a simple morning, but today felt different. With a renewed spirit, she prepared her breakfast, humming a tune she hadn't realized she was holding on to. The routine seemed mundane, yet in its familiarity, there was comfort. Later that day, Maria arrived at work. She and T shared the news of her conversation with Jack not yet. The office was buzzing with productivity. She sat at her desk, surrounded by the sounds of typing and the distant chatter of colleagues. But her mind was elsewhere, occupied by thoughts of possibilities. Each email and phone call pulled her deeper into the hum of her daily grind, but she found herself eagerly anticipating a message from Jack. The clock ticked on, and around noon, her phone buzzed. It was him. "Hey, can we meet after work?" Her heart raced. They had just crossed the line from friends to something more, and already they were stepping into unknown territory. "Sure. What else on your mind?" she replied, trying to keep her emotions steady. "Can't wait to tell you in person. You'll love it." What would he possibly have in mind? Her imagination swirled with excitement and anxiety. As the hours passed, the anticipation felt almost tangible, building within her like a tightly wound spring. When the workday came to an end, she found herself standing on the sidewalk, waiting for Jack. The evening was pleasantly warm, with a gentle breeze playing with her hair. There was a nervous energy in the air, wrapping around her like a soft embrace, both welcoming and suffocating. Jack arrived, a grin stretched across his face. He looked different, alive and full of purpose. Their eyes locked, and Maria felt a spark race through her. She couldn't help but smile back, a contagious kind of joy that urged her to step closer. "You look amazing," he said, his voice genuine as he pulled her into a brief hug. "Thanks. So what's the surprise? Let us walk. I want to show you something." Curiosity piqued. She fell in a step beside him, their shoulders brushing. They wandered through the city streets, the lights twinkling overhead like stars come alive. Jack's excitement was palpable, even more so than the last time they had shared moments together. They reached a small park, removed enough from the bustle of city life that it felt like a private world. He stopped near a grassy knoll, turning to face her, his expression serious, yet bubbling with excitement. "Maria, I've been thinking a lot about what we talked about," he began, running a hand through his hair. "I know there are challenges ahead, but I really want to carve our own path. I want to share my life with you, but on my terms. And that means stepping away from everything, the expectations, the parties. I want to do something meaningful." Her heart thundered at his declaration. "What are you saying, Jack?" "I'm saying I've decided to invest in a community project, something that matters to me. And I want you by my side. I want to build something real, not just for us, but for the people around us." He took a deep breath, the unsteady weight of his words hanging in the air between them. Maria's breath caught in her throat. This was more than she had expected, a genuine desire to connect deeper, to make a difference. "Are you really serious?" His eyes bore into hers, unwavering. "More than anything. I can't do this without you. We can do this together." Hope swelled within her, but suddenly, a sliver of doubt crept back in. Would they be able to navigate the obstacles and judgment from their worlds? The questions hung heavy between them, yet their hands instinctively intertwined a silent promise to explore this venture together. With the city lights twinkling above, Maria felt the weight of the moment. What would tomorrow hold? Would this idea of building something together turn into reality, or would it dissolve under the pressure of their circumstances? The following weeks flew by, each day bringing a mix of excitement and tension. Maria dove into the community project with Jack, working late into the evenings and spending weekends planning initiatives that would bring people together. Yet, amidst the passion of their shared work, a nagging feeling loomed in the background like a shadow. Questions danced in her mind. Were they truly ready for this? Could they balance their new love while facing the judgments and expectations of their families and friends? One Saturday, they found themselves painting murals on a once blank wall in a neighborhood park. The sun streamed down, hot and bright, and Maria dipped her brush in vibrant colors, feeling the joy of creation pulse through her. Jack stood next to her, focused and determined, but she could sense a tension simmering beneath the surface. "Looks amazing," she said, stepping back to admire their joint effort. Jack chuckled, a hint of nervous energy in his laugh. "It's just a wall, but with this, we're starting something bigger." Maria smiled, yet she noted the slight furrow in his brow. "What's really on your mind, Jack?" Jack paused, turning to her, brushing specks of paint from his hands. "I just hope this isn't all too much. I want to make a real impact, but am I doing it for the right reasons?" A soft breeze carried the scent of the nearby flowers, mixed with fresh paint, reminding her of the beauty surrounding them. "What do you mean? You're doing amazing work. Why doubt that? I feel like sometimes I'm running away from my old life instead of towards something new," he confessed. "There's a part of me that questions if I can sustain this, if I can truly walk away from everything that was expected of me." Her heart sank. They had been so focused on the project, she and T considered how deeply his past weighed on him. "Jack, this is about creating something meaningful together. You're not running away, you're stepping up." He sighed, his eyes drifting to the skyline, their laughter from a nearby children's event mingling in the air. "I hope you're right. I want to be here with you, but I don't want to miss out on life's opportunities. Then let us redefine those opportunities together," Maria protested, feeling her heart race as she spoke. "What if we could create a space where we can explore both? A blend of your past and our future?" The determination in her voice seemed to penetrate through Jack's uncertainty. The faintest smile broke across his lips, a flicker of hope. "All right, let us keep pushing forward. For us, for the community." For the first time in weeks, Maria felt the weight lift just a little. They shared a moment of connection, their hopes entwined like the colors on the wall. But with the joy came another truth. Maria knew that his fears were still there, lurking, waiting for a moment to resurface. That evening, as they walked home under a blanket of stars, hand in hand, an unsettling feeling returned. Would their bond hold strong against the challenges they were bound to face? Maria's heart pounded as they climbed the steps to her apartment. She turned to Jack, pausing, wanting desperately to voice her concerns, yet fearing the consequences. "What if we don't figure it all out, Jack? What if our worlds clash?" And he stopped, gently cupping her face in his hands, his warmth enveloping her anxiety. "We'll face it together. I promise." But even as she nodded, a question whispered through her mind, echoing louder than before. Was love enough to bridge the gap between their two lives? The next morning, the sun spilled into Maria's apartment, its warmth chasing away the chill of the previous night's worries. She woke up feeling a bittersweet mix of hope and dread. Today was a community meeting, and the pressure to present their project had her stomach knotting like a tangled string. Jack was already up, standing by the small kitchen counter, stirring a third cup of coffee. "Morning," he said, his voice warm but laced with a lingering tension. "Morning. Ready for today?" she asked, trying to inject enthusiasm into her voice. "Yeah, I think so, just feeling a bit overwhelmed. His eyes flickered toward the window, where a flock of birds danced in the sky. Perhaps it was a simple distraction, but Maria recognized it as his way of coping. Let us just focus on what we're presenting. The mural, the events we're planning, it's all coming together beautifully. She stepped closer, wrapping her arms around him, hoping to share some of her confidence. Jack smiled slightly, but she could see the worry etched on his face. I know, but what if they don't get it? What if they think we're just two kids playing house? Then we show them we're not giving up. Together. Her voice cracked slightly, her own nerves bubbling beneath the surface. They arrived at the community center, where a blend of familiar and unfamiliar faces awaited them. The earlier excitement faded into a pit of anxiety in Maria's stomach. As they set up the presentation, Jack paced subtly beside her, his hands shoved deep in his pockets. When their turn finally came, Maria felt her heart racing. They stood in front of the group, Jack's gaze searching her eyes for reassurance. The initial presentation buzzed with energy, their plans for revitalizing the old park, making it a welcoming space. Maria shared their vision, her words tumbling out with passion as she drew on the ideas swirling between them. She caught sight of Jack nodding along, his face lighting up as he spoke about community involvement and children's programs. It was like watching someone transform, their nervous energy melting into genuine excitement. But as the meeting progressed, doubts began to warp the atmosphere. Questions rose from the back of the room, probing motives behind the project. What do you two know about this neighborhood? A woman challenged. You seem new to all of this. Maria felt her heart drop. The judgment in her voice stung. Jack shifted beside her, sensing her discomfort. We've been working hard to understand, he replied, a firmness edging his tone, and we want to build something real for everyone, including us. Real or temporary? The woman pressed, her arms crossed defiantly. A silence settled like dust in the air. Maria looked at Jack, and she could see the internal battle in his eyes. Was this what they were afraid of? Judgments based on their history? We're not running away, Maria finally said, her voice rising unexpectedly. We're here to invest in a future together. The words hung there, and Maria hoped they anchored her own feelings. But what if it wasn't enough? The murmurings continued, questions rising like a tide, pulling them in different directions. Each word felt like another barrier between their hope and reality. After they finished, Jack was quiet, his mind seemingly elsewhere. In the car ride home, the weight of the day pressed on both of them in silence. Did we fail? Maria finally whispered, fear creeping into her heart. Jack started to shake his head but stopped. I don't know. You spoke from the heart, Maria. But was it enough? What if our past keeps haunting us? What they're right? Jack turned to her, his eyes fierce with determination. We can't let other people's doubts define us. We owe it to ourselves and to this community to keep fighting. These challenges? They're just the beginning. His words swirled in the air, but uncertainty still gripped her. How far could their love carry them when confronted with everyone else's expectations? As they pulled up to her apartment, Maria's thoughts tangled with anxiety. What awaited them next? Would they have the strength to transform the criticisms into motivation? And just when she thought they had a shared direction, her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and felt her breath hitch. It was a message from her mother. We need to talk. Your father is worried about you. Maria swallowed hard, knowing that this conversation might just unravel everything. What could her family possibly think? Jack, she said slowly, her heart racing. What happens if our families don't approve? Maria stared at her phone, a storm of emotions raging in her chest. The simple message had the power to freeze time. We need to talk. Your father is worried about you. She could almost hear her mother's voice, filled with concern, disappointment, and perhaps a touch of love. Hey, Jack said softly, breaking in her thoughts. Are you okay? His voice drew her back to the moment. She forced a smile, but it felt brittle. Yeah, just family stuff. Jack raised an eyebrow, his expression a mixture of concern and curiosity. Do you want to talk about it? As they made their way upstairs, Maria thought about the weight of her parents' expectations. They had always envisioned her path as stable job, a reliable partner, maybe a cozy house filled with laughter. But was that path still hers? I just don't want you to worry, she admitted as they stepped into her apartment. Jack looked around, the sunlight streaming through the window, bathing the room in a warm glow. I'm here for you. Always. His words wrapped around her like a comforting blanket. She sank onto the couch, still clutching her phone, absorbing his presence. It's just, my dad, he has been anxious ever since we moved here. I think he believes we don't know what we're doing. Jack sat beside her, close but not intrusive. But we're trying to do something good. You know that, right? She nodded, but doubt clawed at her. Does it matter if they don't see it? Or if they think we're just kids playing at being adults? Tears stung her eyes, blurring the sunlight into soft halos. Of course it matters, Jack said, his voice steady. But we can't let that hold us back. Remember what we talked about at the meeting? This is our chance to build something meaningful. For us. His belief in her lit a flicker of hope. Maybe they could overcome the doubts, not just from the community, but from their families, too. I just wish they could see us the way I do, Maria whispered that a silence fell, wrapping them in an intimate cocoon. Jack shifted a little closer, and she leaned into him, seeking comfort. What if she paused, hesitating? What if they don't approve of what we're doing, or who I'm becoming? Then we show them who we are, Jack replied, his voice fierce yet gentle. We don't have to fit anyone else's mold. We can carve out our own paths. Just then, her phone buzzed again, breaking the moment. Maria glanced down and saw another message, this time from her brother. Did Mom reach out to you? Let us meet up. Her heart raced. It looks like they want to talk soon. Jack glanced at her, his expression unreadable. Are you going to? I guess I should, but I feel like I'm trapped between them and our project. Like that whole meeting today was just a warm-up for the real battle to come. Jack took her hands in his, grounding her with his touch. Let us face it together. We build a world here, a community. Your past doesn't have to define you. As comforting as his words were, uncertainty still lingered. The conversation with her family could spill into uncharted territory, and she wasn't sure how she would navigate it, if she could at all. Tonight, Jack suggested, let us go back to the park. Stand where we want our mural to be. If that's our vision of the future, then we need to own it. Maria took a deep breath, feeling the spark of determination ignite in her chest. You're right. We can't let fear control us. As night fell, they stepped outside, their shared mission illuminating their path. Together, they set off for the park, hand in hand, knowing that whatever lay ahead, they'd face it together. But what awaited them in the park? Would their dreams hold against the weight of their family's expectations? Or would they discover a strength neither of them knew they had? The park was alive with whispers of the evening breeze, rustling the leaves as the streetlights flickered on, casting pools of soft light on the pavement. Maria and Jack walked slowly, absorbing the world around them. The tension from earlier still vibrated in her chest, a reminder of the battles she felt loomed close. As they approached their designated spot, the empty wall awaited them, a canvas filled with possibilities. Jack paused, looking at the space as if it were blank pages eagerly yearning for stories. Maria took a step closer, heart racing at the thought of transforming this drab wall into something vibrant. Imagine our mural here, Jack said, excitement lighting up his eyes. A splash of colors and ideas, representing who we are. The thought filled her with energy, but doubt chipped away at it. What if their vision was as fleeting as a summer rain? What if it doesn't turn out the way we want? What if we're just fooling ourselves? Jack turned to her, his expression soft yet firm. What if it turns out better than we could ever imagine? What if it makes people stop and think, even just for a moment? She liked that idea. Just a moment of reflection in a busy world could change everything. But then her mind spiraled back to her family, to those expectations that felt like chains. But the meeting is only part of the story, he interjected. Our story is just beginning, Maria. This mural will be our voice. She looked at him, and the weight of her family's concerns momentarily drifted away, replaced by the warmth of possibility. Together, they could amplify their dreams in this community not just for themselves, but for everyone who felt lost. "Okay," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Let us do it. Let us create something that makes us proud." Jack's face broke into a brilliant smile, and she felt the tension ease. They stepped back, hands intertwined, and gazed at the empty wall, their canvas waiting for the first stroke. The stars began to pepper the evening sky. It felt like the universe itself was holding its breath. Suddenly, Maria's phone vibrated again, jerking her out of the moment. She hesitated, but decided to check it. Her palms felt sweaty as she saw another message from her brother, this time more urgent. "Where are you? Mama's getting worried. Please come home." Maria felt a cold knot in her stomach. "It's my brother," she said, handing the phone to Jack as she fought against a wave of emotions. "They want me home right now." Jack's brow furrowed, concern replacing excitement. "What will you do?" The question hung in the air. Stay for the moment that felt so right, or return to the looming storm of family expectations? "I don't know," she admitted, feeling torn between two worlds. "Whatever you decide, I'm with you," Jack said gently. "Just know that our mural will still be here waiting for us." Maria squeezed his hand, feeling the comfort of his presence despite the uncertainty swirling around her. "I just need a second." But as she stared at the message, her heart beat faster. Fear and longing mixed together like oil and water. Would returning home feel more like a step backward instead of toward the future they were fighting for? In that moment, she knew she had a choice to make, one that could define who she was in both worlds. Would she walk away from this vision at the park, or could embracing her roots lead her to a stronger future? The path split before her, and she realized she had no roadmap to guide her. "Jack," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I think I need to talk to them," but would that conversation bridge the gap or widen it? Uncertainty wrapped around her like a cloak, and the weight of her decision pressed down hard. What awaited her when she stepped into that family circle? The park was quiet as Maria stood there, wrestling with the emotions swirling inside her. A decision loomed heavy over her heart. She could stay on this path beside Jack, where hope and creativity filled the air, or she could return home to her family, the familiar tug of their expectations whispering for attention. With a deep breath, she turned back to Jack, who regarded her with calm understanding. "I think I need to talk to them," she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper, but the resolution behind it was clearer than ever. "I want to confront my fears head on." Jack's expression softened, and he nodded. "If that is what you feel is right, I'll support you. You don't have to face it alone." His words were like a warm embrace, reminding her that no matter what choices lay ahead, they wouldn't be made in solitude. As she turned to leave, a small flame of fear flickered inside her. What if talking to her parents did nothing but reinforce the divide? What if they couldn't accept this new path she and Jack were carving out together? But she pushed those thoughts aside, knowing that growth often lived beyond the walls of doubt. Maria arrived at her family's home, her heart pounding with every step toward the door. The familiar sights, faded paint, old furniture, the smell of her mom's cooking lingering in the air, suddenly felt foreign and yet achingly familiar. When she entered, her parents sat at the kitchen table, the tension thicker than the steam rising from a pot on the stove. They looked up simultaneously, both relief and concern flashing across their faces. "Maria, there you are," her mother exclaimed, her voice laced with a mixture of love and urgency. "We were starting to worry." "Sorry, I had to think," Maria managed, trying to keep her voice steady. "I've been doing a lot of reflecting," she added, carefully choosing her words. Her father, arms crossed, leaned forward slightly. "That's good, but we've simply been concerned about you. This project of yours, it's good, but is it really worth the risk? We worry you're getting pulled too far from reality." The words stung, igniting anger mixed with hurt inside her. "Don't you see? This is my reality. Jack and I are trying to build something for people, something that actually matters." The fire in her voice surprised her, but it felt invigorating. Her mother intervened gently. Maria, we just want you to be happy and safe. We've seen what happens to people when they're in over their heads. But I'm not in over my head. I feel more alive than I have in years, she declared, the truth of her words resonating as she spoke them louder than before. Jack, and I want to make a difference not just for us, but for everyone whose voices have been silenced by the weight of judgment. There was silence as her parents processed her words. Jack the billionaire heir? Her father's brow furrowed, skepticism mixing with concern. You know how the world sees people like him. People like me, you mean? She countered, letting a sigh escape. You've always felt I needed to conform, to fit into a mold that you created for me. But I'm trying to break that mold. I want to be who I am, not just who you expect me to be. Her heart thundered in her chest, and she stood taller, more resolute than ever before. A hesitation lingered in the air as Maria's dad met her eyes with a thoughtful frown. All we've ever wanted is for you to be safe and successful. We worry you might get hurt. Hurt. The very idea pinched her heart. Staying in a bubble, away from the risks of life. That's not living, just existing. The kitchen grew silent, her parents absorbing the passion in her voice. She took a deep breath, allowing tears of frustration and hope to well in her eyes. I need you to trust me. I'm building a life on my own terms now, with Jack. And it's real. I wish you could support that, even a little. Her mother's gaze softened, and they exchanged glances, unspoken communication passing between them, opening a window to understanding. Maybe we haven't listened as closely as we should have, her mom finally admitted. You deserve to fight for what you believe in, but we worry you're fighting battles alone. I don't want to fight alone, Maria cried, stepping closer to them. I want you on my side. I want us to create something meaningful together, to redefine our family's vision of success. Tears slipped down her cheeks, and for the first time, she felt a crack in the wall her family had built around them. Your support would mean everything to me. I want to bridge the gap between where we come from and where we're going. Her mother reached out and wiped a tear from Maria's cheek, her expression shifting from worry to compassion. If this is truly what you want, if Jack truly supports you, then we'll find a way to understand. The transformation in the room ignited a spark of promise. They were beginning to see her, hear her, and for the first time in a while, Maria felt as if she belonged. As the conversation drew to a close, they shared ideas and concerns, a plan gradually forming. Maria's heart swelled with hope. Even though it wouldn't be easy, they were beginning to forge a new path together. Later that night, when Maria returned to Jack, she felt lighter, as if the weight she had been carrying dissolved bit by bit. Jack rose from the bench in the park, where he was waiting for her, concern etched on his face. How'd it go? She smiled slowly, her heart full. It went better than I expected. They're beginning to see my perspective. Jack's eyes brightened with hope and pride as he pulled her into a tight embrace. I knew you could do it. We can do this, Jack. We just might need to build together across worlds. The park felt alive under the stars, a canvas of dreams waiting to be painted. With renewed energy, they stared at the wall that would soon transform, full of colors and voices ready to emerge into the world. Together, they could face doubts from friends and families, visualizing each brushstroke representing their journey ahead. Hand in hand, Maria and Jack began to step towards the blank wall, ready to create a future full of love, resilience, and the promise of connection. In that moment, as colors mingled together on the wall, both of their worlds felt less divided. They were learning that love could bridge any gap, especially when it was built on trust, openness, and a shared vision for a brighter future. As the first strokes of paint brushed against the wall, it marked not just the beginning of their mural, but also a fresh chapter in their intertwined lives, because true love, simple yet profound, could indeed rise above and beyond. The night sky glimmered overhead, and as the stars danced, Maria and Jack held on to each other, ready to embrace whatever came next with courage and hope ignited. Now that you've finished this inspiring journey with Maria and Jack, it's your time to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help inspire more people. Because your support means everything. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this. Ending your voice matters. Most importantly, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. So don't wait not even one more second. Only true fans understand the importance of backing this channel. Join the movement.